Welcome to Coyote News. Tonight, Slagle Hall's auditorium has a new name. We'll tell you why.
Also, find out what record the university just broke and the movie at the Muck phenomenon.
And how the 2011 D-Days wrapped up.
But first, an assault happened over the weekend. A 20-year-old man was taken to the Vermilion Hospital. Later, he was taken to Sioux Falls. On Saturday night, early Sunday morning, an EMS crew spotted the man running down East Main Street. He was bleeding from the wound to the neck and face. Names have not been given at this time. Police are still investigating. Police Chief Matt Bedson says witnesses' accounts are a little hazy because alcohol was involved. He says the department is still sorting through the details. We'll have more as details unfold. And with more details here, and with D-Days being a notorious time for citations, Coyote News' Travis Berg talked with Vermilion Police Chief Matt Bedson, and he says citations are down this year. Travis?
Thanks, guys. Between last Thursday and Sunday, about 85 citations were given. A lot of them were alcohol and drug related, but Chief Bedson says minor traffic citations are in that statistic. However, this year there were 18 minors in possession, 37 open containers, and the State Patrol reported 4 DUIs. Now that's actually down from last year. Last year there were 19 minors in possession, 54 open containers, but still 4 DUIs. And looking further back, you can see that citations fluctuate from year to year. There were 110 total citations last year, 71 in 09 and 121 in 08. The former Vermilion police chief attributes the fluctuations to weather, but Chief Bedson says that stats are down this year because of staffing. The force is actually down about 5 officers. 2 positions need to be filled. 2 are on military leave, and 1 officer is in training, so he counts that as kind of a half-time position. So less officers on duty meant not as many situations possibly needing legal attention that were handled by the department. So,
Thanks, Travis. Yep. With more headlines, here's Haley Meyer.
Do you remember the Coyote billboard outside Brookings? Well, today it has a new look. Yesterday, a dead coyote was found dangling from the billboard. USD has no plans to remove the sign, but the coyote's been taken down. USD's marketing director, Bob Fitzpatrick, says the billboard's meant to celebrate the football rivalry. He says the incident's an ugly prank and hopes it doesn't happen again. A Sioux Falls resident has filed an ethics complaint against the city and its mayor over presentations regarding a proposed event center. I.L. Wiederman says the state and city laws were violated because they use public money for presentations that favor the center. State Attorney General Marty Jackley says the matter is for the city's attorney and ethics board to oversee. The city's attorney says he doesn't think any laws were broken. Residents vote on whether or not to approve the proposed center on November 8th. More than 150 Texas school districts filed a lawsuit against their state. The coalition says the school funding system is unfair, inefficient, and unconstitutional. They claim lawmakers turned a blind eye to the schools for years. They say it's because more than $4 billion of public school spending was cut due to a massive budget gap. The engineers stuck at the South Pole could catch a plane home this Friday. In late August, Renee Dussert suffered a stroke and has been stuck there since. She says she expects to fly out on a cargo plane. However, it's a long trip. She will fly into the United Kingdom to Antarctica, then to New Zealand. That's a look at today's headlines.
Thanks, Haley. The Slagle Hall Auditorium has a new name. During Friday's dedication event, it was renamed as the Bailey and Kathy Alfs Auditorium. The Alfs made the leading gift to fund the hall's recent renovation. The Alfs are both alumni and trustees of USD and the foundation. The 28th chairman of the Securities and Exchange Commission will be in Vermilion to present an accounting ethics lecture in late October. Christopher Cox will talk about the current economic environment, free markets, fiscal responsibility, and the U.S. business economy. The event's set for the 26th in the Wayne S. Knutson Theater.
Enrollment in the USD Honors Program increased by 28% this year, helping USD to break records. Freshman academic levels continue to rise as well. 37 of the incoming honors students were ranked first in their class from high school. The previous record number enrolled in honors was in 2007 with 129 students. This year surpassed that total number with 137 total students. USD's Sanford School of Medicine has been approved for a cardiovascular fellowship. There will be 2 specialist training spots available per year for the 3-year program. Those selected will receive education and training from the Sanford School faculty and surgeons. The program will begin on July 1st. The Board of Regents are on campus this week, and representatives of the Students for Higher Education are making an impact. Teresa Johnson is live at the Muck with Director Katie Wagner. Teresa?
Hi, the Muck is bustling with the Board of Regents this week. They've been making some really interesting legislation. Here with me, I have Katie Wagner, who's the director of the Student Federation. Katie, can you tell me a little bit about what's been going on this week with the Board of Regents?
Well, Teresa, we've had a really busy few days here with the Regents in town. We held our South Dakota Student Federation meeting last night. We had a great turnout. We had about 30 students who came to voice their opinions and hear our legislation. We actually were able to pass our initial goals for the year last night, as well as hear from students all across the state on how they feel the 6 regental schools should be run, and how the representative body of the 36,000 South Dakota students, what the issues are important to us.
So what issues would you say were the most important for the students that voiced their opinions last night?
We spent a good deal of time talking about the new graduation credential requirement, and today the South Dakota Board of Regents voted to down the graduation requirements from 128 credits to 120, enabling South Dakota graduates to get out there in the workforce in a goal of 4 years, an attainable goal of 4 years.
And when do you think this will go into effect?
It will actually go into the next university catalog. So I believe that will be 2012.
Okay. Well, what else do you think was important for students to know about on campus?
I think the fact that the South Dakota Board of Regents comes to each of the 6 regental universities is a great opportunity for students to really voice their opinions, for each of the universities to say what's important to them and really find out what's going on throughout the rest of the state as well.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Katie. Back to you.
Thanks, Teresa. Coyote Blog's Angelica Brackens takes on social media.
And movies at the Muck versus movies downtown. Stay with us.
President Abbott says a diverse student population is a priority at USD. He made the comment 2 weeks ago in his State of the University address. Coyote News' Diana Johnson finds out what the U plans to do to increase diversity.
Here at USD, students of different race, age, sexuality, and economic situation define what diversity is. I spoke with Chief Diversity Officer Kirk Hackmeyer, who explained what the diversity requirements are and if USD is meeting them.
We've made some very good progress since the last accreditation visit in 2001. The Chief Diversity Officer position didn't exist back then. We didn't have much in the way of diversity programming, and so we've made some good steps that way, but what they'd like to see now is a more deliberate attempt to integrate diversity throughout the entire fabric of the university.
There are no quotas or target numbers for diversity requirements. However, if USD fails to make good progress of integrating it into the curriculum and student life, there will be consequences.
In theory, if we fail to make that kind of progress, then at some level that puts our accreditation at risk. And nobody wants to go down that path, obviously.
I looked at diversity from a non-cultural standpoint and got student mom worker Christina Estrada's viewpoint on USD diversity.
You don't see too many, actual young mothers my age, and the few people that I do know of, they tried attending college, but because of the difficulties with being a student and a parent at the same time, they weren't able to continue, and unfortunately they dropped out. So.
Estrada said that even though the student-parent population is small, they should not be excluded from the definition of USD student diversity. For Coyote News, I'm Diana Johnson.
Social media has been both praised and the target of criticism recently. Coyote Blog's Angelica Brackens is here to sort it out for you. Angelica?
Thanks, Brianna. Everyone has Facebook. Facebook used to be the dominator of social media, overpowering Bebo and MySpace. Yes, Bebo still exists. Nowadays, it's Twitter. I remember when I got Twitter about 2 years ago and all of my friends made fun of me. They said it's made up of just Facebook statuses, which I guess is slightly true, but it also separates the witty from the blech. Twitter forces you to tweet in 140 characters or less. Facebook, you can write a novel as a status, and believe me, I've seen it done. Twitter also allows its users to create clever and creative usernames to sum up their personalities, like DeBomb Deasy, Kid Cummins, D Money Martin, and Mikey Big Show. Some even make usernames to describe their anatomy, like Big Booty Buffet. Another feature of Twitter is that it allows users to communicate with celebrities. My friend even got retweeted by Deion Sanders, NFL Network analyst and former NFL cornerback. Twitter is better than Facebook. It's less creepy. Twit picking is also a popular aspect of Twitter. You can take photos to share with your followers to remember hilarious memories. My goals in life now include being retweeted by Justin Bieber and to get a blue check mark by my name, showing that it's an official Twitter account. The day my mom gets a Twitter is the day I set my sights on Bebo. For Coyote Blog, I'm Angelica Brackens.
Thanks, Angelica. Tonight in Farber Hall, see the international film Masquerades at 8. Admission is free. Also, Friday night at 7, the USD volleyball team takes on Southern Utah at the Dome. And this weekend, Alpha Phi hosts their philanthropy, the Red Dress Gala. It's Saturday night at 8 in the Muck.
Looking for something to do on Friday and Saturday nights? You might think that movies in the Muck give downtown theater stiff competition, but as Coyote News found out, local theater owners aren't worried. Movies at the Muck give students a chance to catch a flick on the weekends while enjoying free pop and popcorn. But downtown theaters are also offering cheap incentives for Vermilion moviegoers.
Tickets are $7 for adults, $6 for students in military, and $5 for kids. Tuesday deals, we have $5 for all tickets for admission, and then it's a free small popcorn or $2 off any other popcorn size or deal.
Movies in the Muck features many pre-DVD movies, while downtown theaters provide more recent films.
We generally get the more popular movies that are projected to do well. For the bigger name movies, we generally have a midnight showing, and we try to throw out flyers and stuff to inform you guys, and we have a website too that you can check out.
You can visit the new website at marchfilmsinc.com. Up next, we'll check in live with our live reporter, Teresa Johnson. Don't miss it. You're watching Coyote News.
Earlier this year, USD received a coveted Bush grant for the School of Education. Live correspondent Teresa Johnson is at the Muck with Education Dean Rick Melmer, the man responsible for bringing the grant funds to campus.
Dean Melmer had a huge hand in bringing in this Bush Foundation grant. Dean Melmer, can you tell me a little bit about what this grant entails?
Yeah, the Bush Foundation is out of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they were looking for universities in the three-state region, Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota, that were interested in redesigning their teacher education programs. And so they chose the University of South Dakota, which we were excited about, and they agreed to give us $4 million in exchange for the redesign of our teacher ed program for the future.
Okay, and how does this grant, since its implication, how has it affected the average USD student?
Well, we have to kind of phase in our changes over time, and so it's taken us a year or so to kind of get acclimated. So this year's sophomore class, as they move through the program, will be in the redesigned program. And the big change that we're proposing to make is moving from a student teaching experience that used to be 12 weeks long to a 36-week student teaching experience. So students will begin the year in that assignment and end the year in that assignment and go all year there instead of only student teaching for 12 weeks.
Okay, and have you seen any resistance to this change from 12 to 36 weeks from educators or students alike?
The education community, meaning the educators that are out in the field, are really excited about it. I think we're going to get really good support there. I think most of the students are fine with it. I think there are some students that are still wondering, so how's it going to work, and does that mean I have to start earlier and go later, which it means, yes, you do have to start earlier and go later. So I think the students are going to be fine with it once we get going, but I think there's going to be that period of time in transition where there's going to be be a lot of questions. The other thing we're doing is we're embedding courses into that full year experience. So while they're teaching, they're going to be taking some online courses and some face-to-face courses while they're student teaching.
Okay, you said they would have to start earlier and go later. Does this mean they will not graduate in 4 years?
No, they could graduate in 4 years. What it means is they would start the school year earlier. In other words, USD might not start classes until August 31st, but if they're student teaching at Lincoln High School in Sioux Falls and they start on the 21st of August, they're starting on the 21st of August. So they have to start when their school starts, and then even worse yet is end when their school ends. So we might be done on May 8th here, but if their school doesn't get done until May 20th, they stay until May 20th.
Well, it sounds like a very worthwhile program and a great opportunity for USD. Again, this is Teresa Johnson with Dean Milner. Back to you.
Thanks, Teresa. A one-handed catch put Coyote football in ESPN's top 10 this week.
Haley Meyer and Cassie Bartlett have details in sports up next. You're watching Coyote News.
Today on Coyote Sports, a USD football player is on ESPN's Play of the Week list.
After a big win over SDSU to start Dakota Days, the women's volleyball team struggled over the weekend. And Kyle Miller's excited for hockey, even if it's in Canada. But first...
In headlines, Yotes football player Michael Nielsen may be out for the season. The senior tight end injured his ACL during Saturday's game against Southern Utah. Nielsen has 7 catches for 62 yards and 2 touchdowns so far this year. Red Sox general manager Theo Epstein agreed with the Cubs on a 5-year deal. It's worth more than $15 million. The deal is expected to be finalized by the end of this week. The Cubs and Red Sox still have to talk about compensation for letting Epstein go when he still had 1 year on his deal. The USA women's gymnastics team won its 3rd World Gymnastics title Tuesday in Tokyo. Despite losing their Beijing Olympics captain due to a surgery, the team stayed focused and beat Russia, the defending champions, by 4 points. 5 of the 6 members were newcomers to the World Championship event. The Denver Broncos say Tim Tebow will be replacing Kyle Orton as the team's starting quarterback. In Sunday's loss against the Chargers, Orton threw for only 34 yards and had 1 interception. Tebow had 1 rushing and 1 passing touchdown in the game. The Broncos have struggled in the early season, winning only 1 game. Cassie?
Thanks, Haley. Over the weekend, the football team kept its momentum going. It took on Southern Utah for homecoming. The team rushed for a season-best 247 yards. Marcus Sims rushed for a career-high 153 yards. However, it was the passing game that received the most attention. On the Oats' first possession, quarterback Dante Warren drops back to throw, and Will Powell dives in for a one-handed grab. That play set up a 1-yard touchdown run for Warren. Warren went 7 for 9 and 110 passing yards. It was a grueling match, but the Coyotes outlasted Southern Utah 24-19, and that play made it to the ESPN top 10 plays for Saturday. It ranked number 5. The Coyotes are 14th in the FCS poll. They're now 4-2 on the season. 2 USC football players earned Great West Conference Offensive and Defensive Players of the Week after their dominating performances Saturday. Junior running back Marcus Sims received Offensive Player of the Week. He had a career-high 153 rushing yards on 25 carries against SUU. Sims also helped secure the Coyotes' victory with a 2-yard rush on 4th and inches with less than 2 minutes remaining in the game. Senior linebacker Adam Broders earned the Defensive Player of the Week. He had a career-high 17 tackles in Saturday's game. It was the 2nd honor of the year for Broders. After starting Dakota Days week with a victory over a rival SDSU, USD's women's volleyball team struggled on the road. Friday, the team traveled to Fort Wayne, Indiana to take on IPFW, but the Coyotes fell in 3 games. Head coach Matt Hauk says the team didn't execute and played poorly. Saturday, the team took on Oakland in Rochester, Michigan. Despite 14 kills from sophomore Amber Ashoff, USD fell in 4. Last night, the Coyotes played some tough sets against the University of Nebraska-Omaha, but won the match in 3. Freshman Kendall Crittenbrink led the team with 15 kills. On this week's Miller Zone, Kyle Miller gives props to the USD community for their D-Day support.
Hope you had a great Dakota Days. Judging by the sellout crowd at the Dome, I'd say people enjoyed the game. Over 10,000 people were there, most wearing Coyote red and cheering on the Yotes. And talk about fan support. It was loud, as in deafening. Hats off to the Dome crowd for making Southern Utah jump for false starts numerous times during the game, including at one point 3 in a row. I have never heard the Dome that loud, and I hope the noise factor continues for future games, not just for homecoming. We've all seen highlights of the Metrodome during Vikings games and the 87 and 91 World Series, and how much of a home factor that building is. Same with Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge for LSU football and the old Hilton Magic at Iowa State. I'm ecstatic to see the Dakota Dome rocking because that's the home field advantage the Yotes need for every football, basketball, and volleyball game. Way to do Vermilion proud, Coyote fans. In other sports news, the NHL is back in Winnipeg. Now, while Manitoba might not be an ideal vacation spot for spring break, it's a great place for hockey. Winnipeggers live and die with the Jets, and the void that the city had without them is akin to Cleveland without the Browns. It left a hole in the Winnipeg sports fan base. Glad to see an NHL team back in the Great White North, because there's just something special about watching an NHL game, especially during the playoffs in Canada. For the Miller Zone, I'm Kyle Miller.
Thanks, Kyle. And that's all for Coyote Sports. Up next, commentary with John Hines.
A new issue of the Volant hit newsstands today. Pick up your issue to read about this week's Board of Regents meeting. The board's expected to reduce the number of hours required to graduate from 128 to 120. That story and more can be found on volantonline.com. You can also check out the Coyote News link on that page.
A 12-year-old girl in California was convinced by a local psychic to steal over $10,000 worth of unique jewelry from her home. The psychic told the girl that she needed to steal the jewelry and throw it into her cauldron to please the evil spirits that were plaguing the girl. After being questioned by her parents, the girl admitted her fear of the spirits and the psychic. The psychic's court date is set for October 18th. She'll be bringing her cauldron.
Midterms are upon us. Students are staying up later to study hard and hopefully get good grades. But with late nights, more students are falling asleep in class. If you've had trouble staying awake in class, commentary John Hines has a product you'll want to remember.
Are you tired of straining your neck while sleeping in class? Ouch! Say goodbye to aches and pains with the knapsack. The revolutionary backpack designed to make sleeping in class comfortable and discreet. The patented zip it and flip it design allows you to go from 0 to napping in mere seconds.
Sleeping in class used to always make my neck and back ache. But now with the knapsack, I can sleep in class comfortably without hurting myself.
Our patented pillow is filled with exotic jackrabbit tails for ultimate comfort. Other portable pillow bags sell for as much as $800. Ouch! The knapsack sells for just 4 easy payments of $19.95. But wait, call now and we'll throw in the Drool Cup. This cup will keep your dream-induced drooling off of your clothing and neighbors. A $60 value, yours free. Just pay shipping and handling. To order your knapsack, have your Coyote Cash or Flex dollars ready and call 5555-555-5555. There is a limited supply, so call now.
Thanks, John. That's all for Coyote News. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Have a great night and a good week, and we'll see you next time.